Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and this is the first workout of the new year. And overall, very happy with the workout, not happy with the JM presses. But the workout itself felt like I really got into a good groove with a bunch of lifts, got a tremendous pump. I decided to, with my pressing, because I have done so much pause benching, and I have pointed out there is absolutely merits to pause benching, but part of the problem with touch and go is that people bounce, okay? And when you bounce, you reduce chest work, okay? But I'm like, I see so many bodybuilders, I've talked to a lot of bodybuilders who are like, well, I still get a tremendous chest pump on benching if I keep everything tight and I don't bounce. So I wanted to mess with it a little bit and just see if I could get a continual just pumping movement on it for a full range of motion. And I went ahead and I did all my flat benching and my incline that same way. I go, let me just do my pull-ups the same way, all right? Just come in and just do it all like a piston up and down, do my longest ranges of motion. And on the pull-ups, I'm pretty much just trying to hit my stretch at the bottom. And I'm fully aware a lot of people feel like that isn't the full range of motion. And for a lot of people it wouldn't be. That is as far as I can go. But I'm trying to hit that stretch really hard when I do it. And then some of it I'm trying to just hang a little. And I think what I want to keep working on is doing the dead hangs more and more in between workouts, right? I think that's really going to be a big part of the key with that is those dead hangs, because they do so much, right? They do so much. I'm just such a fan for that purpose. And I feel like that'll help also. And I'm not doing the pullovers at the moment, mainly because I have so much other chest and back work that I feel like the pull-ups themselves and then dead hangs will do what I want for now. And I may work them back in. Don't get me wrong, pull-ups are great, pullovers are great. So it's just a matter of looking at how much total volume I'm doing, because what I'm doing with all the pressing and pulling, I've got 20 sets for chest, 20 sets for lats every week right now. There comes a point where it's like, I don't know if I can handle more. And if I do anything more than that, I really want it to be arms, right? I really want it to be my arms. So if you guys will notice on these benching, I'm staying super, super tight. I'm keeping my chest under stretch, just trying to get a stretch reflex. I am absolutely not bouncing. We do not bounce. Do not bounce. And it actually gave me a great chest pump. Same thing, just trying to keep my pull-ups the same way now, of just trying to keep tension on those lats, get that stretch at the bottom through what I am capable of doing. And I felt like when I went over to these on the last couple sets, I went to a thumbs over the bar, because I've noticed sometimes that's always felt good on my shoulders in the past when I had some shoulder issues, particularly when I've gone over to the fat bar. And it actually felt really good. So I'm just going to continue with these trends, you know. I feel like still I'm going to need tons and tons of tricep work. And so I wanted to mess with a couple things. I'm trying to rotate through kind of the exercises that I've got the most out of. I feel like the most tricep pump. And the JM press just wasn't doing it for me today. And I'll talk about that. So I'm going to put an extension back into that slot. I really pretty much need 2 tricep isolations. Right? I think I need that every upper body day. Again, because my arms do need the most work. And by the way, I had someone comment, and I get a lot of positive comments, and it does make me feel better, because I think people need to remember, number one, obviously I have trolls and people just smack talk me 7 days a week. A lot of people are not aware of that, but it's a nonstop barrage. Like, even the ones who think they might be the only ones doing it, you're not. And plus, I do have a bit of body dysmorphia. So I actually had someone chime in and said, dude, believe it or not, your arms actually look pretty good. Yes, they could be bigger for your proportions. They actually are looking pretty good. You've put in a lot of work. So I always appreciate it, and I do get some of that from different people. In public, it's different. People think they have big arms in public. It's kind of funny. But they still need to be a high priority. The priority is still at this point for my physique. Because again, notice the training is all bodybuilder training at this point. I don't think that's going to make me a worse powerlifter, by the way. I think bigger, leaner in the long term is a good way to play the long game, even if I want to walk in and have big lifts coming up on 50. But overall, I mean, the benching and the pull-ups today, just doing all of it while trying to get stretch reflexes at the bottom and just kind of continual movement for the most part. I got a great pump. My pecs were lit up, my traps were lit up, my lats were lit up. Everything got hit really good and happy with it. So I'm like, let me try to do this with the incline. A couple of the incline reps, I'm not going to lie, here and there, a rep every now and then, I did not touch my chest. But I'm like, let me try the same thing here and try to just get that deep stretch. I'm wanting to get the stretch reflex. All right. It worked pretty good. Same thing. I felt my whole upper chest and my delts. They got a great pump. What's interesting to me is that I'm not feeling any tricep on any of the pressing. It's all chest, and then on the incline, I'm definitely feeling some shoulder. Right? I do feel it all in the upper chest there. All right, for rows though, Michael, let me go back over to some wider grip barbell rows. And I stood on the plate because I'm like, and I wanted to see if I needed the belt because I'm bent over. And I kind of realized as I'm doing them, I don't feel like I need the belt. So I pulled the belt back off the later sets. Also, I'm trying to assess if that plate helps me or not, because it does give me the potential for a little more range of motion. So I was really trying to assess that a bit. I don't know. I might throw the belt back on anyways, just for the better neural drive. Okay, better neural drive. This is a point of contention that's come up in my different circles, and I've gone back over. I've messed with it. I've done beltless training in the past for years at a time. I've done belted training on everything for years at a time. I don't think there's a negative to me wearing a belt. I just don't. Okay. I just don't. And for people who are like, oh, you're trying to hide your loose skin. Well, I'm doing plenty of stuff where you can see it. So, y'all are just silly. All right. And I freely admit I have the loose skin. And I feel like it's going to tighten up. I need to publish some of those pictures of when I did the water cut when it was all tight around the flank. Purely from the dehydration. All right. The rowing, I don't know. I felt like they looked smoother. That's the thing. When I look at the footage, I feel like when I threw that belt on, I felt like I bent over further. I feel like I wasn't as scared to bend over further. So I think as a result of that, I may throw that belt back on for those. Purely because I feel like my set quality was better, right? I felt like I had better set quality, and that matters, guys. That absolutely matters. The incline, happy with this, even though, like I said, I went a little lighter because I've only been able to get 8 with the 185. You know, I'm only getting 8. And I know when I've done those top sets before with the pauses, I've managed to do 8 with 225 before my cut, before I started cutting. But I'm only able to do that for one set, and then I completely run out of steam. And I know because I've done it for 8 and then try to rest 5 minutes and come back, and I can't even do one rep. One rep feels like a max. So I've got to build the work capacity, right? And that will keep building that upper chest up. All right, here's the thing. I've gotten so efficient with these movements for making them all torso dominant, I don't feel my arms. You know, I get a lot of people like, I feel rows in my biceps so much, and I get people do that. And I'm like, I don't anymore. I used to at one time. So realistically, all this stuff works in my shoulders, lats, chest. Okay, so I'm going to have to prioritize arms. And I'm going to continue to do that. 50% of my upper body workouts are going to be arms. They have to be. I've got to do, in addition to my pressing and pulling, if I want to be at the proportions that I want, we're going to have to do 20 sets for biceps and 20 sets for triceps a week outside of the pressing and pulling. Okay? To get the proportions I want. Because I feel this other stuff exactly where I want it. I feel the pull-ups in my lats, okay? The rows, I feel lats, traps. Rear delts, I feel my delts actually on rows. I feel my delts a ton on the incline. I think that handles most of my shoulder work. But I was happy with all this work today. The pumps were really, really good. My traps and my lats were really pumped up from all the pulling. My pecs were absolutely pumped. They were stimulated through all 5 sets of the benching. The incline, same thing. I felt my whole shoulder girdle, like my front delt, side delt, I felt the upper chest. I didn't feel any lower chest on it at the 45, but I felt that upper chest, that whole upper half got sore. It was pumped, felt good. So desired result. Now when I do the slightly wider rows like this, right, when I take it all the way out, pinkies on the rings, right, I feel a little more upper back, obviously. So I feel more delt, but I still feel the lats. All right, the JM presses, I'm like, I get so much bench carry from these. Let me mess with them today. Meh. I wasn't happy with them. So let's just call, meh. We're not going to rotate them in for now. I'm going to replace the slot with an extension. I'll do Skullcrushers here and then a second extension. You can either do the dumbbells, and I feel like with the dumbbells, I just need to use the smaller diameter plates. I need to use the 5s instead of the 10s so I can get them in tighter. And I felt almost the same with the dumbbell curls today. All right, so for the other curls, I'm like, let's mess around and let's go with what we feel best. I feel a slight cheek curl on a wide grip with this really gives me a tremendous stretch in my biceps at the bottom. The eccentric on this stretches the hell out of my bicep because I'm going all the way to lockout. And, you know, I get people who look at this and I don't know why people love to criticize my curling. Yet, here's the thing I'm going to point out. Have my arms gotten bigger? Yes. Do I have any tendon pain? No. I have no forearm, no tendon pain. And I get a hell of a pump on a lot of these movements I'm doing. If my biceps are crazy pumped, they feel stimulated, they seem to have made some progress as an advanced lifter, and I have no tendinitis even doing the higher volumes, I'm going to take that as a good sign. So why the wider grip when I do these? I went ahead and went up one weight on this. Mainly because, again, my dumbbells tend to be a little closer. This stimulates a different ratio of the bicep heads just slightly. But notice that I bring it all the way to my face. I am taking the elbow through its entire range of motion. My forearm is touching my bicep at the top. Have the wrist cocked back so there's no tension loss. I get a really heavy eccentric load and a stretch at the bottom. I feel my biceps stretch and it feels really good. Let's disregard all the J-arm presses today. Yes, it hit my triceps. You know, this is above my neck and my chin, by the way, for those curious where that bar is. It was like, you're just lowering it, but no, it's not above my chest at all. But that's beside the point. Plus, that helped me build, you know, the 365 bench before. I don't know. I'm not feeling as much as I get on some of the extensions. So if we're not feeling it and we're bodybuilding at the moment, I don't care what it does for my bench historically. Okay, let's build some muscle. I need my arms bigger. So while it was fun to do for a one-off, I think Skullcrushers with an easy bar are absolutely a go-to. Band work versus dumbbell extensions for the secondary tricep movement are kind of where I'm torn, and I feel like I can rotate between them however I feel like, as long as we get that pump and the stretch. But the curls, these felt really good. These actually felt good today. One of the things people always complain about my flaring, but again, look at my normal anatomy. Watch when I've walked up to the bar on the rows and stuff. Okay, see where my arms are? That's kind of my normal position. I can't touch my hands to my sides, by the way, without exhaling and squeezing really hard. Just my rib cage and lats. This is what it is. Obviously, you know, I still need to lose body fat and lose skin around the waistline, but it's been slowly improving. And I'm just going to keep working at it. I'm going to keep chipping away at it. We're going to keep working on getting leaner, keep working on building up the arms, and just keep moving forward. So I've only really early in the summer started caring about physique at all. It's really just been a few months. What has it been, 5 months or so? I'm not sure. That's how long I've cared. Now the training is gearing really towards it. The diet is gearing really towards all of it. I feel like my diet is really dialed in at the moment. So I'm just going to keep stripping some body fat off. I'm going to keep adding size to the arms. I'm going to keep working these areas until I look good. you know. And I've had people come in, I've even had some already, and I'm already looking better than them, have said, well, I used to be a Blaha hater, but you actually are starting to look pretty decent. I'm gonna stop hating. Fantastic. You know, that's the thing, guys. Just that's a good rule to follow when you're dealing with people like that. Just keep improving and keep excelling and keep trying to do the right thing and the good thing and improve until your haters turn into your fans. And it really is that simple. Okay, it really is. And I'm doing that in all things on this channel. I'm being a kinder person. I'm not being as much of a dick as I was many years ago. And by the way, I'm actually fairly nice in person, guys. I'm really not a dick. But that's a certain part of all of our personalities, and I'm able to spit fire. I try not to do a lot of it anymore. Okay, yes, it's entertaining, but you know, I'm not trying to just entertain people. I entertain people on Facebook, by the way. You guys want to see funny? I'm funny there every day. I'm here to help people, to help outreach, to teach people, to get clients, to teach people how to train, teach them how to eat. Okay, that's what this channel is for. But those curls felt good. So here's what I did. The Skullcrushers felt great. Like, I've been really happy with Skullcrushers lately. The main trick is don't go under 10 reps. And I'm good. As long as they're 10 plus reps, and those were all 12. The curls, I'm like, I really want to mess with going into starting in a pronated and then rotating it up. Again, what are we trying to do? Work every single possible function of the bicep, brachialis, all of that. I'm trying to really, really maximize that. So that's why we do the really high range of motion. That's why I lean forward on the barbell curls so that we get the stretch at the bottom. We go into the Lincoln position, and I'm taking it all the way up into the shortened position at the top. I'm also making sure I work that shoulder function because the long head of the bicep requires that shoulder movement. The first 30 degrees of it has a tremendous impact on the long head of the bicep. All right. Same thing, we start talking about the supination and pronation. That movement is arguable that it does very much for biceps, but it is one of the functions. So what I'm doing with this, I'm trying to make sure between my two curls that I am literally working every possible function of the bicep through the longest range of motion possible. Doesn't matter if there's a little swinging, as long as we are taking the muscle and its functions through the longest range of motion and creating fatigue. And I can tell you my bicep pumps in this workout were crazy good. All right, same thing when I got to the Skullcrushers, okay? The Skullcrushers, like, I was not happy with the J-arm presses, but these will lit my triceps because I'm going all the way down to the face and then rocking back just a little. Getting that stretch in the long head, great tricep pump, super happy with it. But the dumbbell curls also today, because I started messing with that a little bit on the off days of doing them that way. Like, I do like how that feels. I like the other ones too, but I'm like, I want to make sure that I'm working all the functions of the bicep. The primary is flexion of the elbow. Notice all of my bicep curls, I lock them out at the bottom and I come all the way up. I make sure the elbow goes to its full range of motion. I am also making sure there's at least some shoulder movement forward. And then on this one, of course, I'm adding the supination and pronation of the wrist. By the way, that first 30 degrees of shoulder movement is bicep. That is not subject to debate in the physiology. So, not saying there isn't some shoulder involvement. There obviously is. But if you are not doing that ever, you are not working all the muscle fibers of the bicep. And it's very simple. It is very straightforward. That is not even a point of contention. It's basic human anatomy. So if I want my arms to get bigger, I'm going to have to work the hell out of every angle. Okay? We've got to work everything. And I'm dedicated to doing that. I'm going to hit them with really high volumes. I'm going to train them hard. We're going to get a pump, and we're going to work every angle. I'm going to get some big guns, right? Not really much else to say here other than the only thing I was unhappy with maybe was the J-arm presses today. So I need to replace those with an extension. Okay, I need to replace them with an extension. Overall, though, now that I'm back to doing the really high carbs, which is what I prefer, I feel like I'm looking fuller, looking thicker, right? It's helping. And my workouts are phenomenal, even on the same calories. It's kind of one of the things I've noticed over the years because I experiment with it. I simply cannot train as hard or as much volume when I start replacing carb calories with fat. I can't. Plus, fat calories are not ideal for a lot of other stuff. Right? All right, I'm going to just quit talking because there's not much left of this. You guys can watch the last couple sets if you want. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.